Hello, welcome back to my diary of a spiritual being on a journey of a spiritual being traveling the world. So I just went again to the pool today. It was beautiful out. Yesterday it rained and was a little cloudy. It was so lovely out the weather. I'm not going to complain, but less motivating to get to the pool. Today we got to the pool and I'm having my second coffee of the day. I might be a little addicted to some coffee. So my days, like yesterday, we pretty much just did a bunch of stuff that I needed to get done, got some videos and all that stuff. Nothing super exciting. Hung around. My husband was gone all day. He went to a networking event, thought he'd be back in the early afternoon, and didn't come home till like 10:30 at night. He's like, I met the coolest people. The event he went to, now that I'm thinking about it, was a Your Best Life event. So I never heard about this group. They're actually not on Facebook. There is other people that exist that aren't on Facebook, which is quite refreshing. And he really liked it. It was a bunch of business owners that traveled together. They go on different trips and they're all included in all the different trips. Like, he thought it was really refreshing for other groups that he's dealt with and how much cooler they were and how nice they were. He's like, wow, I finally, he felt like he fit into this group. So that was really exciting that he had a great day and met some really fantastic people. I stayed home with my daughter, struggling to get her to do stuff. Normal. So that was about my summary of yesterday. Today I got up really early. We had session number 15 of Ignite Your Spiritual Journey, and I actually had another lady join us. She was a little hesitant because she wasn't sure how her internet would hold up, but it seemed to work quite well. So she's excited. She's going to join us for the last session as well. I promised her it was going to be shorter, but it ended up being actually one of the longer ones. And yet we only talked about one extra topic, which was really the third eye chakra, but I was adding a lot of extra information because she hadn't been in the sessions previously. So I was adding extra information to kind of explain certain things, such as us using the 432 hertz music and frequency. One of the things I thought I would talk about today was specifically the 432 frequency. So if you do some research, now this is going to be the thing with artificial intelligence. They're going to stay very surface. Like, they're going to say based on what the system currently wants you to know. Not necessarily true information, because it's very skewed, but you're going to get surface information, like things at the 432 music and 440, there's nothing between those difference in the hertz. There is a big difference. Back in the early 1900s, there was a choice to start playing all music at 440. 440 hertz is not in alignment with nature and our natural frequency. It actually makes us more aggressive, less connected, and is not soothing to us. The 432 frequency is soothing to humans. It's more in alignment with our natural frequencies and will actually help us. If you go down the conspiracy theory, there is some saying that before Michael Jackson passed away, whether that was purposeful, that he purposely killed himself, or some conspiracy that he was drugged by his doctor. We're not going into that, but that he was going to start outing 432 music and frequency healing, and that was why he was a problem. So that's things I've heard with that. Because if you Google, the first thing you're going to get a lot of information on how there's no difference and that, blah, blah, blah. And so if you're going to like a chat AI or chat GTP or whatever kind of artificial intelligence, they're going to give you back this information that is not necessarily really correct. And this is the concerning thing, is that censorship can even be pushed more as truth through these artificial intelligence. So already when you Google things or look things up, if you're not good or don't know what you're really looking for, and you go those first couple, depending on the information, the first couple might be valid, but depending on what you're actually looking for, you might have to hunt to find real information. And this is kind of a problem. But the 432 music and the frequency hertz is extremely soothing. And I think it makes a big difference, because I was explaining it, how when we're doing the sessions and we go into the actual practice, we are listening to, since we started working on chakras, 432 hertz frequency music that aligns with the chakras. And I feel like that just adds an extra depth to this practice. And she really enjoyed it. Her internet worked pretty well. She had one little glitch, but I don't know if it was her glitch or at one point I accidentally paused the music instead of turning it up. So she might have thought it was a glitch. But she's really happy. So she's going to join us for the last session. And then I may continue doing some sessions with them, some private sessions. So that's really exciting. But one thing I did want to share, and where, you know, chat can totally come in as super beneficial, because I have a tendency to write things and they're kind of coherent, kind of ranty, right? And it doesn't necessarily get my thoughts across eloquently. So I really like GPT, for taking my thoughts and making them more eloquent than because I'll write out a rant and then I go to chat and like, this is the context, so I'm responding to this, or I'm making it this. Can you make this sound better? And then I just put my word babble mush that's all these coherent but kind of crazy, incoherent thoughts together, and then it spews out something that just sounds so much more eloquent. Now, fair enough, if I know somebody and they've seen rants I put, I cannot push it off as mine, because they'll be like, this is totally not Julianne talking. So it was interesting, because the reason I bring this up is I had somebody who actually came to me asking why we chose to buy. Why did we choose to buy? And of course, I started going kind of in my rants of all the different things and all the different reasons as to why we chose to buy. And then reading, I'm like, this, it's got all my points in it, but it just doesn't sound very eloquent. So I just let her know. I'm like, well, I put my rant together. Then I got ChatGPT to make it sound better. This is the eloquent way of putting it. So I wanted to read what the answer came, which was all of the things I wanted in it, but more eloquent, right? So this is what ChatGPT spewed out for us, or for myself. We chose Dubai as an international location for several compelling reasons that align seamlessly with our business aspirations. Dubai offers an unparalleled combination of ease and excellence when it comes to establishing an international office. Very true. It's been super easy to get set up. Unlike many other destinations, there's no requirement to invest in property to attain residency. Instead, Dubai actively encourages individuals with genuine business acumen and skills to relocate. They're very much on that. So that is very true. Sounds way better than what I actually put. The Emirates stands out for its strategic approach to attracting businesses and talents, exemplified by their straightforward procedures by setting up a business, particularly when partnering with the right company. So if you get set up with the right company, like for us, from the time we actually paid them to the time, it was like less than 3 months. We had everything set up. We pretty much came here, and within like a week to 2 weeks, all the final things were done. We even had to have a bank account set up, which, a side note of that, we're still running into people running businesses that can't get business accounts set up, but they're trying to do it on their own. So you can definitely do it on your own, and it will cost less. But there's a lot to be said when you hire somebody who knows what they're doing and how much easier it makes it for you. So if you have an endless amount of time and you're willing to do the struggle because you really want to save the money, totally. But if you've got the ability, it's worth taking some money, even if you borrow, to do it and just save yourself all that effort so it's done, and then you can just focus on working on your business, which is what we found. Dubai's resilience during global challenges is noteworthy. The city never imposed lockdowns on its citizens and maintained a focus on personal freedoms, avoiding the complexities seen in Western nations. Furthermore, Dubai's recent inclusion of the BRICS nations underscores its growing influence on the global stage, accompanied by its robust and functional economy, setting it apart from other options, including some in North America. That is how it nicely said. It didn't treat its citizens like second-class citizens if they didn't get stabbed. Because that's actually what my first rant was essentially that, they didn't lock down, they never shut the doors, they didn't stop people from living their lives and traveling freely if they did not take the stab, which does not sound as eloquent as during global challenges. Dubai's resilience during global challenges is noteworthy. The city never imposed lockdowns on its citizens and maintained a focus of personal freedoms, avoiding the complexities seen in Western nations. I'm like, that just sounds so much more eloquent. The Emirates boasts the highest influx of millionaires and billionaires relative to its population size, a testament to its economic vibrancy. Additionally, Dubai's favorable tax environment is a significant advantage, with a mere 5% sales tax on select items and a corporate tax rate of 9%, but only applicable beyond a certain income threshold, and most notably, no personal taxes. This financial landscape allows individuals and businesses to retain their earnings, a refreshing departure from the heavily tax burden prevalent elsewhere. Essentially, my rant with that is, You get to keep your money instead of giving 80% of away to corruption and pure corruption. That was born my rant. That sounds so much eloquent. You get to keep your money. And if you make a lot of money, okay, you're not even paying 10% taxes on your business, which is really when you're coming from Canada, where we are heavily taxed. And the fact that April 1st, as I've mentioned, they're increasing the carbon tax by 23%. 23% of an extra tax on the tax. Then let's continue. Dubai's healthcare system is not only functional, but surpasses standards seen in North America, ensuring the well-being of residents. While the educational system is reputably excellent, our decision to homeschool makes this aspect less critical for our specific needs. In essence, Dubai's pro-business environment, visionary goals, financial advantages, and commitment to personal freedoms makes it an ideal setting for endeavors. We were seeking a location that not only supports entrepreneurship, but actively encourages it. And in Dubai, we see boundless potential for growth and success. And that's really it. We have no guarantee that there's money. We're not a guarantee. It's all what we put in. But we were looking when we were for something outside of North America, outside of the Western nations, that wants to promote people to bring businesses in and wants people to bring their businesses. And that's the nicer way of saying things. Like I said, they just don't open the door for everybody. Like in Canada, literally they're just opening the door and giving you handout money, just like what's happening in the US. You don't have to have skills, you don't have to have anything. They're just like, come here, live off of the system, we'll pay you money. One of the saddest stories I heard from the US was how a new immigrant, so somebody that was just hauled in, was frustrated because they hadn't got their money from the government yet and were frustrated, so they were just throwing rocks off of a bridge over a road, and I guess it hit. The daughter was driving a car, the mom was in the passenger seat, I think the dad was in the back seat, they're driving, the rock hits, because of, with the momentum, and they're going fast, hits the car, breaks the window, and kills the mother. Because they were unhappy that they hadn't got their social benefits, yet they're not even a citizen of the USA. So there's something to be said about being stringent that, you have to be bringing some value here. Like we had to go through a medical to make sure we didn't have certain things because they don't want you as a burden. They're open to having you here, and the medical system is actually surprisingly well organized. Like literally you throw a stone, there's another medical center or hospital. Everywhere we've stayed, there's one usually within walking distance to where you're living. That doesn't happen in North America. We don't even have in my province. Pretty much there's not even walk-in clinics anymore. My brother didn't feel well, went to a walk-in clinic, had to set an appointment to come back the next day. So that's essentially it. Like if you were dying, you then go to emergency at an ER emergency room and sit there waiting for hours, or you're booked in for the next day. So it's not the same. And it's interesting because I'm on the Canadian Expat Facebook group, and it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind because Canadians are obsessed with taxes. Now, first of all, just a side note, when you have a bank account here and you're making money here, the Canadian government has no idea. They have no access to that. They can't do anything. You do not have to do anything if you don't want to. You don't. And so this is a weird thing where I won't put that out on social media and actually type that out on Crackbook. I'm just not going to do that. But I sit there going, my God, Canadians are so reliant on taxes. And then they're so concerned about education. And it's weird. It is so weird to me because I've been listening to Cliff High, and he had brought up a number of years ago, and he says that right now, like, there's no sending your child to university is wasting money. They will never recuperate those funds. It will take them so much longer to recuperate and pay off their education and into their education and their loans than what they're going to make in that. So if you want to go and be a teacher, it's not worth it. It is clearly not worth going and spending $100,000 to become a teacher and start at $30,000 a year and have those in that intense debt. And that was even really kind of the case in the early 2000s. We were kind of on that borderline there. He's talking more that unless you're going to be a doctor or like in a highly trained professional end, which there's not a lot of people that are going to really go that deep. Maybe if you know you're going to come out and be making almost six figures out of university, but there's almost no jobs that are like that anymore. Like they don't exist. You're spending and wasting so much money on college, because that's what I see in the homeschooling forums I'm in as well. Like, well, if I'm homeschooling, can they go to university and can they go to college? And I honestly don't even think it's worth it. Like, if I would have known that I could make money doing the things we're doing, we're doing trades. You can go do a certificate. You can learn online this stuff. And if you're motivated, you can make better money than going and investing in this system that is breaking down. And it's really, especially in North America, it's woke. It's so woke, and it's brainwashing. All they're doing is you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to be brainwashed into wrong thinking. And so it's weird. So it's very interesting with the Canadian expats, because then they also go, oh, well, you need this much money to live here, or this much money. And we're definitely not making any of that. But it depends on what your expectations are. Like, if you literally just want to spend like you're a multi-millionaire, okay, yeah, you're gonna need to be making $30,000 a month Canadian to survive here. If you're not, and you just enjoy the weather, you can enjoy the beaches, the pool, if you find a place where you have a pool, and like with the cost and everything, I'm like, it's not. So it depends on what your expectations really are. Like, what do you want for your lifestyle? If you want just a nice lifestyle, you can have that here. You don't have to be super wealthy. But then the problem comes into is if you're sending your kids to the school. The schools are not free. You pay for the education. However, the education quality seems to be substantially better than North America. One of the people I was talking to, they don't even use textbooks. It's all about critical thinking and learning. And I'm like, well, I admire that, but I still am not going to send my daughter to a system, because I still feel like if you go to my Facebook posting, I have a great meme, which this is actually where this comment was under, was this picture which compares the education system, schools to prison. So here's just some examples of how they relate. So school, authoritarian structure. Prison, authoritarian structure. School, dress code. Prison, dress code. School, emphasis on silence and order. Prison, emphasis on silence and order. School, negative reinforcement. Prison, negative reinforcement. School, walks in lines. Prison, walks in lines. School, loss of individual autonomy. Prison, loss of individual autonomy. School, abridged freedoms. Prison, abridged freedom. You have no freedoms. You don't. School, no input in decision making. You don't get a say in what you learn. You don't get a say in any of that. Same as prison, no input on decision making. School, set times enforced for walking, eating, etc. Everything is time. Same in prison. Set times for eating, walking, anything. Bedtimes. So there is this massive reflection in that even if the education system is better here, it's still going to be like that. It's still very much of this control system. And the new world is not going to run off of that, because those of us that make it through this time, that are unstabbed, are the ones that are going to have the best lives going forward, because it's just story after story of just finding even these weird clots in living people. And like, there was a doctor who didn't want to give out his name, but he didn't cover his voice, and he was being interviewed, and he was sharing all these pictures, and he actually pushed back, and he knew that he kept getting threatened he was going to be fired, but he's pretty sure he didn't get fired because they couldn't have replaced him because he was in this special niche. So that's the only reason he didn't get fired, but he made it through without getting the stab. And he's showing what is happening. He's like, these are not, like, these things that they're pulling out, he can't even rip apart. They're not natural. These are not things that come from nature. And he can see the records. It's 99% that got stabbed that have these. And they can be anywhere from one stab to some of them that he's seen that have had 8 of these stabs. It's not those that aren't stabbed. They're not the ones that are producing these and having these. And, and I wonder if that's what's going to be this new, because they really want to push you into this fear of this new virus X or this new pandemic X. It's going to be the rollout of the injuries. And the weirdest thing I saw recently, and I've not seen it again on you. I think it was maybe it was Rumble or YouTube, one of them, where I saw a commercial, and it was for Mondera's newest version of it, and it was called like what was it? The name just stuck out because it was all about oh, it'll come to me as soon as I'm done this video, but it was about their newest version of the stab, and it literally listed for the whole thing, all the side effects that us conspiracy analysts talked about. We've been talking about since day one, since that nurse dropped dead live on television. And then people started dropping dead. And then people started reporting these things. And they were all being gaslit. And now they're saying that these are potential side effects. And even in them, they said for males 18 to like 25, it's more likely that they'll have a heart attack. And it's boggling my mind. So I feel like if you've been stabbed, it's got to be really stressful because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to live till tomorrow. You don't know what was in your stab. There is websites though that'll say like how dangerous it is, because some of these batches were much more dangerous than other batches. But then the more you took, the more likely it is that you got a really dangerous batch. So it really hurts me because this is something that people didn't want to talk about. And it is like that non-talking about thing. And all I can control is my own actions. And so I do feel that even if the education system is better, I'm not putting my daughter in prison. I'm not going to. It's just not going to happen, because that's not the future. The future is going to be that she's going to have skills to survive. She's going to need to know how to grow food. She's going to need to know how to communicate with people, how to do videos, how to be online, how to do all these other things that aren't taught in the prison system. Like that is the truth. And I feel like that is really where we're going with this. But again, this is only my personal opinion, and I hope I didn't offend you in any way. I'm just sharing my personal experience and what I've gone through. So again, be hesitant with chat and chat GPT or any of those artificial things. Be hesitant with them, but you can use them to make things sound more eloquent than being like, 80% of your income is going to pure corruption and greed. And, if we're sending money overseas to other countries, they're taxing you too much. That doesn't sound as eloquent. So I feel like a chat just makes me sound less crazy and a little bit more adaptable to those that don't want to necessarily hear the truth, right? Anyways, I've got to get going because I've got 3 different online meetings right after this, and I got to make dinner, and I've got some more videos to do. So I'm going to go and continue on with my productive day. Done my meditation, done my I am statements, got to the pool, done a bunch of stuff, even napped. And so now it's time to get going. Got online meetings, and just keep trucking. Keep trucking. You can tell that I come from rural Alberta. Anyways, till next time, have a beautiful day. Namaste.